By noon, the headline had broken across every network in America. The $9 billion bridge was closed by order of President Donald Trump. The announcement came from the White House briefing room, but it felt more like a campaign rally than a policy statement. Trump stepped up to the podium, shoulders squared, voice sharp, and declared the shutdown a bold move to protect American workers, American security, and American money. Behind him, a giant screen showed the bridge, once a symbol of connection, now empty, silent, and surrounded by patrol boats. For years, the bridge had been sold to the public as a marvel of modern infrastructure. It cut travel time in half, moved billions in goods, and stood as proof that the country could still build something enormous. Truckers depended on it. Small businesses depended on it. Entire towns had grown around the traffic it carried every day. And now it was sealed off. Trump said the decision came after an emergency federal review. He talked about bad deals, foreign influence, and billions of dollars bleeding out of the country. He claimed the bridge had become a financial and strategic liability, a structure that benefited other nations more than it benefited the United States. Whether that was true or not almost didn't matter in the moment. What mattered was the shock. On the ground, the reaction was immediate. A truck driver who had crossed that span 5 days a week for 10 years stood outside his cab staring at the barricades like he was looking at a close chapter of his life. A diner owner in a nearby town watched her lunchtime crowd vanish in real time. Construction workers who had spent nearly a decade building the bridge gathered under an overpass, helmets still in their hands, unsure whether they were angry, proud, or betrayed. The markets twitched within minutes. Infrastructure stocks dipped. Oil prices nudged upward on speculation that shipping routes would be disrupted. Cable news split into its usual warring panels, one side calling the move a masterstroke of economic nationalism, the other calling it a reckless stunt that would cost more than the bridge itself. But for Trump, the moment was pure theater and pure leverage. He framed the closure as a negotiation tactic. We built it. We paid for it. We're not going to be taken advantage of anymore, he said, pointing directly into the cameras. He'd promised a better deal, toll restructuring, new trade terms, domestic manufacturing guarantees, and he insisted the bridge would reopen only when America was winning again. Supporters cheered the decisiveness. They saw a president willing to do what others had only talked about, to shut down a multi-billion-dollar artery of commerce overnight to force change. Critics saw chaos, a unilateral move that rippled through supply chains, strained local economies, and raised serious legal questions about federal authority. Meanwhile, the bridge itself just sat there, stretching across the water like a paused sentence. Helicopter footage showed the empty lanes glowing under the afternoon sun. No engines, no horns, no movement. The silence turned the structure into something else, no longer a symbol of progress, but a bargaining chip. Inside Washington, lawmakers scrambled. Emergency hearings were scheduled. Governors demanded answers. Economists flooded the airways with projections. Billions lost per week, thousands of jobs at risk, insurance battles, contract disputes. Every hour the closure continued, the pressure mounted. But Trump thrived in that pressure. He called it the art of the deal at the highest level. He reminded Americans that big change always looked dramatic in the beginning. He leaned into the spectacle, turning what could have been a dry infrastructure dispute into a national showdown about power, money, and sovereignty. For the people living in the shadow of the bridge, though, it wasn't a metaphor. It was their commute, their paycheck, their future. A real estate agent watched home values wobble in a single afternoon. A warehouse manager rerouted shipments through roads that added 6 hours to every delivery. Parents wondered if their kids' school bus routes would have to change. As night fell, the lights on the bridge stayed on, but no cars crossed. It looked like a monument to a decision that had split the country in two. Those who believed the closure was a necessary shock to the system, and those who believed it was a self-inflicted wound. And at the center of it all was a single signature on a federal order. Trump ended his speech with a line that looped across every replay. Somebody